The biggest thing that a game can do for its community is give out content, and that's something that the shift in the game industry as a whole has kind of been favoring more so a shift towards constant updates that allow players to have more content, immersing them in a gaming experience. And that's something that, admittedly, over the last couple of years, Call of Duty has been trying to adjust to. And as the Goliath that they are, with so much involved in each individual game, it sometimes gets tough to end up having individual things on a small, consistent basis, like a weekly basis or something like that. But it is something that, especially with Call of Duty World War II, just in the past couple of months that we saw since the launch, there definitely has been a more conscious effort to allow for more things to come out via content, featured playlists, all kinds of cool stuff that tries to immerse the community a little bit further. As of recently, we had the Shamrock and Awe events added in. As of yesterday, we had Domination XL finally added in. Whether or not you want to agree that it's something that took a little too long to get here or not, the point of the matter is that it's still added in, and it adds a little more incentive for players to play that. So stuff like this is nice and all, and I think that there has been some solid progress made since the launch of the game. But I want to talk today about some things that we still don't have in World War II, and some things that we can look out for, hopefully coming, and some that definitely will be. So with that said, we're going to be taking a look at 7 different things here still missing from Call of Duty World War II. If you guys have anything you want to throw in, feel free to let me know down there in the comment section down below. Maybe this ends up getting enough feedback and enough traction that maybe this makes its way over some of the guys at Sledgehammer and we can get some updates here on this. Maybe the next community blog, or even better, maybe in-game. So that said, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below with any of this stuff. Let's just jump right into it. The first thing that we're gonna be talking about is paint jobs, because that's one that I am personally incredibly excited for. As I've said so many times here up on the channel, I'm a big camo guy within Call of Duty. Always have been, always will be, but the one thing that World War II just didn't really do for me since the start, it's been a little bit better with the introduction of the camos with Shamrock and Awe, but before that, we ended up only seeing the camo challenges for each weapon, and up until the bronze camo, which still, in a sense, those ones a little higher, weren't the greatest in terms of my own appeal with them, but the ones beforehand for the one-shots, the headshots, those sorts of challenges that are just the grueling, kind of grindy camo challenges, none of those did anything for me. So paint jobs from the very beginning, when we first saw that this would be introduced, I was incredibly excited for, because I love the idea behind having the ability to create something that you yourself can apply to your weaponry in game. I think it's an awesome level of customization, but we ended up seeing that pushed back, and as of recently, we ended up seeing it actually mentioned in one of the more recent community blogs, in which they said flat out that they apologized because it was not ready, and they probably should not have been hyping it up beforehand as such. Now, as it stands right now, there is no ETA on when paint jobs will be coming, but my guess would be maybe mid-April or so, with maybe about the launch of DLC 2 at the earliest. Maybe it's still pushed back a little bit afterwards, but that would make sense because we'll have a massive title update to go along with that DLC, and then probably will be another event within World War II. So that's something we can probably keep our eyes open for around that time frame. But paint jobs, I'm still incredibly excited for it. It's definitely coming, definitely in the works. We just don't really have an accurate representation on when. So get hyped if you're a camo guy like me, because it's gonna be good. Next thing up on the list is one that, honestly, I am really excited to play around with, but that might just be because I haven't experienced it yet, the flak gun event within the headquarters. Now, this might be one of those ones where you can say, well, what do you mean it's not in the game? I've played it. Well, as it stands right now, the flak gun event still has not been rolled out to everybody, which is a little unfortunate. It is region specific still in some areas and will pop up randomly, but overall it is something that has not been applied to the whole global aspect of Call of Duty World War II at the very moment. It's still something that is progressively rolling out, and I'm not entirely sure how long it will take to actually roll out to everybody, but as it stands at the very moment, not everybody has the flak gun event. And that's one that I'm rather excited to see coming, because I always love the ability to get extra armory credits out of that, and maybe social score if they throw that in on top of it. But it's been something teased since the very beginning, and the entire reveal of headquarters that we'd be getting it, but as it stands right now, we don't have it. Kind of curious moving up on that 6-month mark for World War II, and we still have yet to see it, but it is what it is. But talking further about region-specific things, actually, one thing that I had actually no idea until I read some of the comments about this in various different videos and different tweets about it, is that some people still don't have their headquarters populated. Now, I've been seeing a lot of this pop up from people in either the Middle East, and I think I saw a couple of comments say from South Africa, which is kind of cool that the videos make it all the way over to those regions, but it's weird to me that they still have not had the headquarters. Now, that's something that might happen to you as well, in which maybe this is something you've been waiting to hear on, but unfortunately, I don't have any information as to why this is still happening. Again, hopefully, if this ends up gaining enough traction, Sledgehammer can maybe see this, and maybe that ends up helping to roll that out to everybody finally. But whether it comes down to a server issue or a player number issue, it's just strange to me that one of the biggest and most immersive things that Call of Duty has to offer and has been pushed as such in the marketing materials still has not been completed, again, almost 6 months after World War II's launch. So hopefully that's something that rolls out soon. Again, I don't have any specific information for this one, but I'm hoping that's something that's resolved, because I do feel bad that some people are still left out on this sort of situation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about deals a little bit with these special contracts, because one thing that we've yet to see in that sense, we've seen a lot of stuff for, say, the Sten, the GPMG, the Ice Pick, the Gewehr, all that kind of stuff right after Winter Siege, and then we saw one for the Volkssturm Gewehr also with the Resistance event, but we also have not had anything for the pistol weapons or the new DLC weapons that we just got. That's something that we did see a little bit of bugs regarding the special orders, but that was more so due in part with the heroic uniform and heroic weapon bribes. But we also saw those introduced over top of the weapon special orders as well. So that's something that, for whatever reason, they decided to take those out of the rotation to begin with and then change them out with something, but we still have not seen those specific weapons added in via special orders just yet, which honestly, I'm really hoping for. I don't have either of the pistols. I decided to save my armory credits for the next batch of weapons, which did come in handy because I ended up getting the MG81 out of a supply drop and then the M38 with armory credits, so it worked out, but I still don't have those weapons, and as somebody that likes to collect a lot of the stuff in game, I definitely want to get my hands on those. So I'm hoping that they end up switching these back into being special orders for the weapons on the rotation, similar to what they had previously. Definitely want to see those added in, because again, for anybody that did not get those weapons, it's definitely a great way to do so just by simply playing the game. So hopefully those return, but as it stands right now, we're still missing out on those ones. Now, as for the next things, these are kind of smaller tidbits here that honestly, I would have imagined would have been something that are, I don't want to say simple to add in, but simple, small things that we may have taken for granted in previous games, and now that they're not there, it's unfortunate because they're kind of cool features that I'd love to see. The first thing of those ones being a medal section in the combat record. Now, as it stands right now, you can check your different medals that you end up getting in an individual match in the after action report, but that's the extent of it. You can't go and see it anything further, and that's one thing that I've always been curious about. I'd love to see how many streaks I ended up getting, what my longest streak was, and things like that, due in part by the medals. And while this might not particularly affect you in a sense, we've had it in pretty much every past Call of Duty game, and it's been something that's just been kind of there as something we can check for ourselves and see our progress as players. But to my knowledge, there's not really any plans for this one, so it's something that, in my mind, still is missing from World War II, but I would love to see it come. The next thing that I want to talk about ends up dealing with the ability to view other players' combat records. Now, this is something that once again has been seen in quite a few different titles, but in World War II, we do not have the ability to check that. Each individual game offering something similar to this has kind of had slight variations to it, either whether it be previews of each player in the lobby, or you could actually go and take a look at everything in their combat record in their theater, like Black Ops 3, whatever it may be. Various different games have had various different iterations of how they approach this situation, but World War II unfortunately does not have anything like that. Personally, I know this isn't necessarily the biggest thing, but it's a feature that is missing that honestly I'd love to see, because I'm not the biggest fan of going up against the 3 KD 4 win rate 6-man party every single game when I have somebody that has a KD of 0.2 on my team, and that pretty much makes up the team that I have every game. I'd love to be able to just jump in before the lobby, maybe even surf that a little bit, see if that works out to the sense of being able to avoid those situations a little bit, but unfortunately, you never really know until you're in game, and then also a few minutes in whether or not you're playing well in a competitive match or you're just getting stomped. So unfortunately, that's something that again is missing. Probably on the smaller side of things that air quote need to come, because it really doesn't, but it's a feature that's been in previous titles that is still missing from World War II. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about today actually is one that you guys may recognize for yourselves, that being some ranked play issues, in the sense that we still don't have the ability to add full parties within ranked play. Now, ranked play, for those of you guys that don't play along with it, it's the competitive aspect of Call of Duty World War II, very much so built on the success that we saw all the way back in Black Ops 2 with League play. That's kind of carried on in the past couple of years, though admittedly not as well, because League play was just something phenomenal. That was lightning in a bottle. I love that aspect of the game, and I loved Black Ops 2 to begin with. I don't know if it's just a combination of both of those or whatever, but I digress. It's something that ranked play is a 4v4 competitive rule set in which it varies throughout the different competitive game modes, but being a 4v4 competitive area of the game, you'd think that you'd be able to party up with 3 other players of your squad and of your choosing, but unfortunately the most you can do right now is, I believe, 2, which is definitely strange given the fact that Sledgehammer has addressed this point head on, saying that they were looking into making matchmaking a full 4v4 party experience, and they said it was coming. But still, to this point in time, we don't have that offered, which is, again, kind of odd and unfortunate, but definitely when you think about how the progression has worked within ranked play, weird at the very least that it's still not in World War II, again, almost 6 months after the launch. So granted, Season 1 of ranked play didn't start until, I believe, right around the December mark, but still, you get the point. But that said, that's gonna conclude the list of 7 things that still are not within Call of Duty World War II that, to me, honestly, is just surprising at some points, but love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Once again, is there something that you are waiting for in particular that may not be in World War II just yet? Is there something that I may have missed that you want to bring up to the table? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know down there in the comment section down below. But again, hopefully this ends up being something that maybe can create enough chatter that it makes its way over to Sledgehammer and we get some either communication on these sort of things or maybe some implementation in the sense that they just end up coming out. Now, I don't pretend that I have any sort of say in that kind of stuff, and I don't expect that to happen, but all I can really do is hope to open the channels of communication a little bit further. But again, that's just something that potentially has that option to be the case. So love to get your thoughts and feedback. Seriously, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, anything in particular regarding best class setups, tips, tricks, news, updates, all that good stuff. We got you covered here up on the channel, so if any of it interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get a little more active over there as well, that link is in the description below if you guys do want to toss a follow. But all that said, now I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. Take care, and peace.